Hello there everyone, thank you so much for watching the DayZ podcast. I want to thank all of our Patreon and YouTube supporters for all of their support. It is really much appreciated. I want to thank Malinar, Ken Brown, Tank Dazza, Shane Murphy, Big Dog, Florida AF and Eric Johnson for our Patreon supporters. Much appreciated and much love to you all. And I also want to give a special thank you to our YouTube members, Jake Zero Cool, OG Bricktop, T-Dog, Stud Muffin, Hannah Epps, Zenith777, You My Size, Andrew Boyd, Michael, Darkwing Tate, DayZ Hub, Marson P2, Matt Z, Raymond Normoyle, King Alabar and Kenny Baker. You are all absolutely fantastic. You are absolute legends. Thank you so much for providing for the show and supporting us in all of our episodes. We really do appreciate it and we can't wait to see you on the next show, the DayZ Podcast. Hello everyone, and we're live, episode 122 of the DayZ Podcast. I'm joined today by my good friend Dump. How are you doing, my guy?
I am doing beautiful. Yourself?
I'm fab. I am good. Hello everybody in chat. And we are joined today by a repeat guest and a very good friend of the show, RedFalcon. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How is everybody?
Doing good. Doing really good. And I just want to say very quickly, Petty Weddy, thank you very much for the €10 donation. Much love to you, my dude. Hope you had a good week.
Very nice.
Speaking of good weeks, how's everyone's week gone so far?
Well, RedFalcon, how's your week?
Great talk.
Happy it's Friday.
Yes.
Busy. That darn IRL seems to get in the way all the time.
That is yeah. Well, what time is it for you right now?
It is just after 1 p.m.
Sod that. Yeah, I'm good.
No.
Well, I really do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come on the show. Just for everybody in chat, RedFalcon is a fantastic vehicle modder he has created. Well, do you want to explain what you've done? Go on. Cool.
Sure. So, beginning of the year, I started releasing my helicopter mod, the RedFalcon Flight System Helis. That's continued to grow, added a bunch more models and additional flexibility and configuration. Then I released the RedFalcon Mosquito, which is a little single seat kind of gyrocopter type thing. Originally built for inclusion in Deer Isle, but it hasn't gotten into Deer Isle yet, but I've released it out for everybody to use.
Nice one.
And then currently working on RedFalcon watercraft mod, so boats.
Okay.
And I've got a bunch of other little projects. One fun one I just got an itch to do was a flying carpet. So I'm just going to take the heli simulation, strip it down. You have to have the little genie lamp on you to fly the magic carpet, and then you hop on, you can fly around.
Mate,
It's
I would so have that.
thing.
I would
awesome.
easily have that.
That's awesome.
But that is absolutely fantastic. So obviously, you know, it's been quite some time since you've been on the show. I think you were on earlier this year, and which is absolutely fantastic that you expressed interest to come back on the show. Obviously, the big thing, 119, we talked about it a hell of a lot in the last episode, but one of the major things was the new vehicle physics. Now, I don't know anything about vehicles with the modding side. I barely know how to drive a vehicle in DayZ, so I'm very interested on the modders' standpoint. How different is it actually to Legacy at this point?
Sure. So I'm going to make a short story really long here, and we'll start with, as you said, there was much talk about 119 coming out. Big vehicle changes. We're going to fix everything, and of course, everybody took that as, oh wait, they just had Reforger, and there's a vehicle in that, and it looks different. Maybe they're going to port that whole simulation into DayZ. It's going to change everything. And I was kind of a dissenter on that, saying, well, that's going to break everything. Basically all vehicle mods will break and have to be redone. So I'll wait and see. So we got the experimental release, had a chance to try it. Of course, loaded my helis on there. What did it do? It crashed the server. So had to roll up my sleeves and start digging.
Get to work, boy.
Get to work.
Yes.
And kind of going, oh gosh, how much runway am I going to have? This might take forever. The short answer was it really only took me about a day to get the helis flying again.
Nice.
The major change was in the simulation module configuration, and I'm gonna kind of break that down like a fraction here in a second. But I just had to go in and compare old version, new version of the base code, and then realign my configs to match. And then everything was golden.
Oh, that's nice.
So we've got a couple of tiers we look at. There's obviously the one that everybody sees, which is the player level. So how does the vehicle play? How does it drive? How does it feel? There's some of the immersion components of that too, of like, does it really feel like a car, or does it feel like something else? And it was the same thing with helis, and that's a thing I'm really focusing on with boats, is does it feel like a boat in the water?
Yeah, because
a lot of that is,
you've got to have that kind of like weight to it, like kind of drag to it,
At that, and there's a lot of different kinds of motion going on and things like that. So I actually spent last weekend out on boats fishing, and really paying a keen eye to the way that they move and behave.
Right.
So there's that part, and then when you get into the modding part, there's the actual config, which defines the various components and attributes of them. And then there's the script, which is the script that we can see, that defines some of the, like, how the animations work and things like that. And then there's the super secret code in the middle, which is the stuff that we can't see. So that's the actual DayZ base code that's embedded in there that we can only tell what it does based on kind of observing and looking at the configs and seeing how it works.
And seeing kind of like how it all blends together. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. And there's a fair amount of guessing and deduction involved in figuring out how that works without being able to see the code itself.
All right.
Right. Okay.
So as I had to fix the config part first, because that was the biggest mismatch, that was where I started digging into, okay, well, what changed and what might this mean? And so we know with the Humvee, which is the new vehicle in 119, that it's an automatic transmission.
Which is great.
Which is great. Now, in the version that's out there right now, it's still a little sketch, but that's just tuning.
Yeah, it's a start. Yeah.
Right. So as we look through the config, we can see that there's, configs for automatic transmission. They've broken out some of the pieces that were kind of all munged together, like the clutch configurations had been buried in with the engine. Now they're separate. So that just indicates that they're cleaning the code some, that they're kind of carving things out to make it easier to expand. But that also indicates to me that this was not a rip and replace of the underlying simulation.
Yeah, it was.
They took some bits and bobs and algorithms that they had, and maybe stuff from, ARMA series stuff, and said, okay, well, we know we've solved how to do this in this other game. Let's just adapt this algorithm.
Okay, fair enough.
One of the big things I saw was that they put in configurations for differential. So
so
both from a central diff, which is how the power is distributed front to back for all-wheel vehicles, and then each axle has its own differential config that can be set to open or locked. And for those that may not understand how differentials work in cars,
no, I definitely don't.
Yeah, back in the days of old, where you had a fixed axle, both wheels would turn at the same speed no matter what. And it was physically impossible for them to turn different speeds. Now, when the car is turning, or you have different levels of surface traction, that can be problematic, because you'll have one wheel that has more traction than the other, and it kind of will tend to spin the car around. So the differential was developed to be able to have the car apply more power where there's less traction. So you'll see, like, one wheel gets spinny, and more of the energy will go to that wheel to try to give it more traction and even out the load. How that equates to in the way the cars drive is it should make them more stable, especially on uneven surface. And as we know, car stability in DayZ is sometimes a fun experiment in what the hell just happened. So that's
This-
exciting because that just means more stability for the cars and for modders, more ability to configure how those differentials function.
Mhm.
So, if I'm understanding you correctly, DayZ made it so you can control almost each wheel independently, power and torque wise, separately, right?
It's something like that. It's each wheel will get power differently based on its traction.
Okay, interesting, interesting. Now, is that also part of the whole kind of like braking situation they have now, where if you push too hard, they can show the brakes are starting to lock?
That is tied to that. So that would
Oh.
be a combination of the differential and if you had like an anti-lock braking system, which is what we're used to on our cars, where if the car detects that the wheels are starting to lock up, it actually will start to pulse the brakes under the covers.
Yeah, so
In
it's like
this,
an advanced system nowadays, right? Where nowadays, if
right,
you slam on the brakes, it goes da 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 instead of
instead of just locking them up and throwing you into a
yeah,
slide.
definitely.
So that is definitely part of it where they're showing that you're losing traction. Um, and then we had the e-brake added, so the emergency brake.
Mhm.
Um, we
Which has been
had the
fun.
horn. Yeah,
The whole
the, we
yeah.
we have that car horn finally, so we don't have to
Beep
rely
beep.
on a mod for a car horn.
Yeah.
But that's a little superficial. And they also added a slot for a spare tire
Mhm.
That's
on most
nice.
of the base vehicles. Uh, and probably the big thing, which I'll explain why in a second, why it's important to me, is under the covers, it's very clear to me that they made some changes to the way the suspension works.
Okay.
Now, the way that we're experiencing that, like in the game, and I think you can see it most clearly in the Humvee, just because it's got, nice big wheels
It's
and
kind of
point of
designed
view is,
that way, yeah.
yeah. So you can, if you look at those while you're driving, you can see that it's kind of an independent suspension. If you're going over rough terrain, you can see that the tires are going up and down where the vehicle may be remaining more stable.
Mhm.
There was some suspension simulation in the past, but
But it
they've
wasn't
clearly,
as yeah.
yeah. But the
Yeah,
part that's exciting, oh, go ahead, Dump.
I said I have noticed that driving the wheels on driving with a side view of the car, the wheels don't necessarily move with the terrain as much. And now with 1.19, you actually see not only the wheel moving up and down, but you can actually see the
The
leaf
suspension.
spring flat
Yeah.
Yes,
bar literally going up and down with it too, which is really cool.
Mhm.
right.
It's
So
the
they
little
had a lot,
details. Sorry,
yeah,
sorry, go on.
exactly.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say it's the details that start to give that immersion,
Yeah.
which is I think a part that the wheeled vehicles they came up a little short. So it's starting to feel more real. Um, but where I was excited was so the way my helicopters work, they
Mhm.
do rely, they're basically cars with invisible wheels. And then I bypass a bunch of their physics simulation and introduce my own reality. Um, but I do rely on their suspension simulation to avoid having the helicopters just explode as soon as they touch the ground
Right.
Okay.
um, because it's like hard contact. Well, one issue that I've had in the past is in the heli config, if you turn off collision damage,
Mhm.
which a lot of servers do because players can't fly well and they crash and they get
Oh,
upset because
that's
their heli blows up.
well, that's it.
Uh,
Yeah.
Uh,
um,
but nice modders
so
like you put easy mode in, right?
exactly. So I've made them as configurable as possible. Following, actually, that was one of the things Boydie, when he first saw the mod, was like, the more configurations, the better. The more flexible for server
Yeah.
owners,
Absolutely.
the better. So followed that tenet. But if you turn off collision damage right now, and you, let's say, land your heli rather hard, it will bounce. And the harder you land, the more it will bounce in almost like a Super Bowl effect.
Right.
And then if you land at a slight angle, it also introduces spin and twirl, which looks suspiciously like what happens when cars freak out. And I think this happens
Okay.
more on console than PC now, but I know it used to happen all the time where you bump into something the wrong way or a car spawns in and it's kind of got a happy feet, and it's kind of jittering and bouncing a little bit, and then all of a sudden it may bounce and fly off. That was
Yeah.
the suspension behaving in weird ways. Now in 119, with my helis and collision damage off, if you slam them into the ground, they just stop. They don't bounce.
Right.
So I think they put some limiters on the suspension and how much reflective energy is put back into the suspension.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's a lot of work. A lot of calculations that need to go into that, I'd imagine.
Yes. What I hope that means for cars for players is that there will be less likelihood or maybe the impossibility of the old flying bouncing car,
Hmm.
which was one of the banes of cars in the game.
No, no. I refuse to think it was a bane. It was a bad thing. It's just an experimental feature that got way out of hand. That's all it was. That's all it was.
And it was usually now another part that I have tested. I had heard loose talk about people saying, "Oh, they're going to change the way networking works," and I'll explain that in a
Yeah,
second.
I'm quite interested in that. Yeah.
So without going into too much agonizing detail, the way that DayZ server and DayZ client talk
Hmm.
is the server has to tell the client where objects are that the client needs to be aware of,
Yeah.
that it may have to render for you to see. And there's the distance that it starts to communicate where those objects are is kind of known as the network bubble. Like
Yes.
what's in
Yeah.
your bubble that you need to know about. Where that becomes problematic is if you've got somebody, and I've been guilty of this, that likes to be Bob the Builder or Betty the Builder and go build a giant base and hoard a whole bunch of guns and other things like that in the base. And then you're driving up to it or flying up to it, and you get about 900 meters away, and all of a sudden you get
Starts to.
massive lag spikes
Yes.
and rubber banding. And so
Hmm.
that's just has to do with the way that at like way deep in the code that they've architected how to handle that network bubble and communication between server and client about what it needs to know about.
Right. Okay.
So so that there are other ways to handle that, other games that are similar to DayZ in the fact that it's an open world and there can be lots of stuff. They've handled it differently. It can be smoother. I was a little dubious that they were going to make a major network bubble modification just for vehicles.
Yeah.
The testing I've done indicates that really hasn't changed.
No, I kind of thought that it might not have. I mean, I know we've kind of talked about it quite a bit, and then we know that the networking had a severe effect on cars. So if you're testing, obviously you said that hasn't really changed. Even without like a change, have you noticed kind of like a correlation between server like performance being low and cars messing up or anything like that? Have you seen anything like that at all?
I haven't had a chance to test at that
Right.
kind of scope. I think that's where, we'll probably we won't really find out until we've got some live servers.
Hmm.
We're in full
Hmm.
release and we get a bunch of players that
That's
are
fair
driving
enough.
cars around, things like that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I know today they did a test where a lot of people were allowed to join and drive around. So
Mhm.
that was kind of interesting.
I missed that. I was at work again.
Um, so as far as the netcode goes, and then some of your previous conversation here was you were talking about how you noticed that they were starting to clean up the code, the separating of the
Yeah.
clutch from the engine and stuff like that. I wonder if maybe part of the cleaning up the code is they were removing and streamlining calculations between the car, the client side of the car, and the server side of the car, and maybe that's why we're getting a slightly smoother experience now because they don't have a lot of unnecessary junked up equations working together.
I think you're onto something there.
Mm,
I think you
it would
are.
make sense.
Yeah. Um,
We
let's
have a
see.
person
So
here, Mark says, I have tested a lot of vehicles of full pop and low pop servers. Cars don't bounce at all. There is some desync/rubber banding, but otherwise super smooth, far better than older versions.
Then whatever that did change
Hmm.
must have been really good,
right.
obviously. Yeah, because I have noticed a severe lack in posts on Twitter and Reddit of cars flying. I know somebody posted in the Discord about it, but it was a joke video, which is great. Greedy Peasant, thank you very much for becoming an 87.8 Survivor FM fan. Much love to you, my dude. Thank you.
Nice. But welcome to the little thing we have here.
Yes. So, obviously, you messed around with quite a lot of the simulations, and you're talking about how you're starting to develop your own boats. Have you seen anything that could signify any other different types of vehicles that could be made? Anything in the possible pipeline, or any changes like that at all? I know a lot of people's excited about the new vehicle, in like the infusion vehicle physics, and a lot of people want to know the full extent of it, like the full possibilities. Are you able to enlighten a little bit more about that?
Sure. There are some things that it's difficult to tell whether to get excited about or not, because we see a lot of, for those that kind of like to dive into the code and say, oh, here's a weapon that doesn't work yet, but it's stubbed out, or here's a new vehicle. I think when the van came out initially, it was in code, you could see it, but it was missing the config part, but it was a thing there. They have stubs for both boats and helicopters that they've had for a while.
Yes, I've seen
that. But they were pretty dry stubs. There really wasn't much there other than just a shell. When I was in looking, there seems to be more there as I dug into it. There are things like for the planes, they've got the animations defined for the navigation lights. So for the lights on a plane where you've got there's
on the wings,
red and green on the wings, and there's a blinking white light, and there's a stable white light. Those are actually defined down at the pretty far in the config. So there are stubs there for stuff. Whether it's going to go anywhere or not, it's hard to tell.
Now, can you tell us, was that in 1.18 as well, or is this new?
No, that was in 1.18.
Right. Okay.
So it's not net new, but I don't know when that came in. I don't know if that's been in since like 1.1 or not. But I know that there are definitely some pieces there. I've started scouring to look for new 1.19 pieces that are added that are going to be stubs. But there are definitely possibilities for different kinds of vehicles other than that are created by modders.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, that's the thing. On top of the plane stuff with the light and animation, we're definitely going to need somebody to go through the old files just to make sure that if they have always been there and they've never really been noticed before. I know don't you typically like save a copy of each script like folder, like each before an update comes
I have all the files since 1.09 backed up.
Then there you go. So that'll be a good starting point. So, but that is actually fairly interesting though overall. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, we're gonna get like bikes, or we're gonna get helicopters or planes or shit like that, because it's very early days.
Actually,
but it's like, it's still really exciting to know that we've finally gotten these features, these new toys to essentially play with. Do you feel, obviously with the new changes, that you can expand, especially your mod, a lot more to make it a lot more smoother, especially with your upcoming boat mod?
Yes, I think so, and I think some of the changes that they've made in 1.19 and what that hints at maybe coming in future releases, I think opens up more possibilities, especially for vehicle modders that are doing wheeled vehicles.
Right.
Just like I said, as they added the differential and automatic transmission, which in the past, if someone wanted to do something that was like an automatic transmission, they would basically just do a one-geared or something that has a first gear and reverse. And so it was kind of janky, where with the automatic transmission, it actually does shift and give you some of that like brief clutch pause within the shifted gears, things like that.
Okay.
So here's an interesting question about the whole vehicles stuff. How much of this, or if anything, have you seen where maybe it's a work in progress and it looks like that the vehicle update we're getting now isn't going to be the last of the beef of the update. Maybe this is just kind of like the beginning of it, and it's not going to be just tweaking and hot fixing here and there. It's actually going to be expanded upon more. Do you think that's possible, or do you think this is just what we're?
No, I think that it will. It's based less on like where we get the clear signs of, hey, they've stubbed something out that doesn't do anything right now, but clearly it's going to do something in the future.
Yeah.
What we're seeing is, like I said, a better organization of a lot of the configs, which then leads me to think, okay, that lets them do more either with the physics underneath to make things smoother or more realistic, or that they can add more functionality and more config where it's
Nice.
not all locked together, but that it opens it up and just makes things more scalable.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Oh, one other thing they added was aerodynamics. That was
Ooh.
something that wasn't in the past. So right now it's just frontal area and drag coefficient, but that's
Okay.
another one of those little pieces that can help add to that immersion feel.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got a big giant, panel van or something like that, it's going to have different aerodynamics than maybe
Which
even
means
an ADA or something.
Yeah, which means more drag, less speed, and stuff like that. So things like the
Mhm.
Gunther now make sense why it's so much faster than, let's say, the Yoga, because the Yoga is not a very aerodynamic car.
Exactly.
So what I'm hearing is bullet cars when?
We're gonna get like one of those dragster cars.
You know what? I would, that would be sick if somebody made a mod of like race cars. Like, I know there's race cars already, but if like ones like that to do a drag, I would sign up for that shit so hard.
Dude, I joked with somebody about this on our Discord, talking about like it's instead of being the Fast and the Furious, it's going to be the DayZ and the Glitchy or something, and it's going to be a bunch of people like drifting around corners with the handbrake and stuff.
You
But
only
what I
literally
was
have to drive straight. Who can reach the finish line before you start veer off somewhere? Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Oh.
But no, there's so many fun things, so many fun things. I do want to state, folks, that while this is all very, very exciting, hearing things about like possible taillights and other things that slightly to do with helicopters and stuff, please note these are possible features and other things. Nothing's confirmed, and nothing is going to be. We're not saying helicopters or planes are coming to DayZ official. We're just talking about the things that we saw in the code. So do be aware of that.
Absolutely.
That's a good caveat. This is all just speculation and prognostication.
Yeah. So, speculation. When are they going to release helicopters for vanilla?
Well, follow that up, huh?
No,
Just
but
like...
never.
No. They're coming. They're coming.
Just like your Red 9?
Shut up. But it's really cool that that they've upgraded the systems and they're introducing some features. That honestly, I never expected that they would do something like with the aerodynamics. I completely escaped my mind. No, that's actually really cool. It definitely will help each vehicle be a lot more unique in its performance. How easy is that to implement into, say, modded vehicles like your helicopters, for example?
I think other than somebody really fiddling around to understand what the two settings are for just looking at aerodynamics, for example, how they actually affect the vehicle, and then putting that out, hey, this is the equation that they're using to calculate drag. Then it's really easy. I mean, it's all just in the config. So
it's all there.
Put it in your mod. It's all there.
Right. Okay.
It's the usual DayZ story for modders, which is reading the code, trying to understand what it means, and then fiddling with it to understand how it actually affects things in the game.
Yeah. Oh,
nice.
A lot of trial and error is basically what you're saying.
It is.
This is the cool question here, RedFalcon. DayZ updated the DayZ diagnose _ exe that we have for testing and experimentation. Now I have yet to get to working myself because they have yet to push the release, which I'm probably going to talk to like Steve that in chat for his fix for it and stuff. But how have you looked at those tools yet? Like all the changes they did?
Yes, I did.
Steve said we get docs next week for the vehicle sim, they say.
And OG Bricktop said, "Quick, get the hairbrush. You're having a bad hair moment." Mate, you know what I say to that? Yeah, I am. I am. My hair today has been absolutely goddamn ridiculous, honestly.
But have you looked through the new tools that we got with the diagnostic tools?
I've done a quick look. I was basically waiting until I saw somebody give the sign that yes, it's there's a release out that they're functioning in, and that we can start digging in. But that definitely looks exciting. It's going to be
yeah.
head and shoulders above
for folks
what we've had before.
For folks who don't know, there are things like we can see now geometries, we can see the wireframes, we can see so many more things, including controlling all the different types of lighting, like we talked in that previous episode. So a lot of the stuff is going to really help modders in real time start to troubleshoot their mods pretty quickly without having to play the shutdown and a reboot game multiple times, which is pretty cool.
I'm honestly really excited about that because I've been working on that lighting mod for a long time now, and it is so painful doing a single like change, packing it, opening up my server, testing a particular time, waiting for that change to apply, and then going back to test it. It is so tedious. And I know there's something, you know, with file patching at the moment for 1.18. I don't know how to use it, to be honest.
Someone help Lad and me, because I want to learn too.
But from what I've seen and from what I've heard with these new tools, it's fantastic and it is an absolute game changer. I do actually, Steve, like, not gonna lie, I do. It is like I just want to finish this mod and work on something else. but it's really cool that you're getting these kind of tools. Now, you said that you kind of looked into it, and Steve said there's the docs are going to be released next week. Great stuff. How useful, and this is going to sound like a dumb question, but I'm just, you know, just for people who aren't modders in the chat, how useful are these tools going to be for something like what you do?
Huge.
You heard it here, folks. Huge.
It's huge. Just like you described, the old kind of server restart, change a thing, go and cycle, see what happens. That's just the way things are. So having those kind of tools where you can get in and kind of visualize the matrix rather than having to deduce it, I think is going to be huge. There's another kind of meta aspect to all of this that we've been talking about. The changes to the vehicle simulation, the diagnostic tools, some of the other things that they've been hinting at is, you know, they're even within the last 6 months, there are naysayers saying, "Oh, DayZ's dead. It's just going to kind of get to a stable point and not go anywhere, and they're going to move on with new things, and nothing's ever going to change." and we're seeing like real development, and this is not just superficial stuff. This is real stuff going on, which indicates to me that they're not done yet.
Oh no!
You know, we got a lot of more to go, so that's super exciting.
The pawn bots, the back, nice. That's it's just slightly deviates. That's 2 streams in a row we've had those kind of bots in. We're making it. We're doing it. Oh. Go on, Skill Speeder, son. Get in there. McKee, there's Google. Use that, you naughty boy. Use that. Don't cover the podcast for your daily dose of Chat 69. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
No, thank you. But Lachant moment.
Yep. I was gonna correct you because I thought it was too funny.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. So, oh no, it is an actual lad champ. moment, I've completely lost track of what I was going to say because of that bot. Don't. No. This is a serious lad champ moment. I am like. Oh dear! Please, somebody remind
me. Don't worry,
me.
I gotcha. So with all these cool vehicle physics and stuff, and you already talked about like how you're going to be doing boats and everything else. What is the first kind of boat you're going to introduce?
So the focus. So actually, within my Discord with the supporters, I threw out if I build boats, what do we want them to do? And what are the parameters around it? Because there's a lot of different ways to go.
Yeah.
And what we came out with was primarily, other than something that doesn't suck, doesn't crash the server or kill players.
The basics, yeah.
Sounds reasonable.
Which is a good baseline. That people were primarily interested in smaller boats, things that they could fish from.
Okay.
And things that they could get around the map. So they didn't want the bigger, no giant yachts or military boats necessarily, but
just something small, simple.
Yeah. So my prototype vehicle is it's an 18-foot Boston Whaler. So it's a nice little fishing boat.
Okay.
And then I've got models already lined up for. There's one that's it's like a 27 or 28-foot. Like traditional fishing boat with a cabin and that sort of thing. And then a little outboard motor John boat, which is just like a 3-person boat. I think I've got a model for like a Zodiac because everybody wants those. And then Sea-Doos, which will be kind of a fun little thing.
Okay.
What's the last one?
Sea-Doo? Well, it's like people call them jet skis, but it's the kind you sit on.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you think a rowboat would be possible? I mean, even if the animations weren't there, do you think a rowboat would be possible?
I think anything's possible. It's whether, that would be fun. The animations would be the thing. Without it, it would kind of suck.
Okay.
But
okay,
if we ever get an animation framework,
that'd be awesome. Hey guys, looks at DayZ. We'll look at Mario. So
yeah,
I know we're gonna get this question, and it has to be asked. With all of the changes, how feasible do you think two-wheeled vehicles will be?
I think what we've already seen prototyped by folks is probably as close as we can get. I know that Dino's Bino has one that he's gone through several iterations.
Yeah.
That's okay. I think there's a few others out there too.
Okay.
But I think that's probably as close as we can get without some genius coming in and developing something completely from the ground up that isn't based on car script at all.
All right. Now, with that being said, how feasible? You don't even have to say yes or no on this. Do you think DayZ would do putting in something, let's say, as like a motorbike or even a basic quad?
I mean, they could certainly do it. I think that it's going to be a bit of a lift because the vehicle simulation they have right now is based on a traditional 4-wheel vehicle. And there's some things that motorcycles or 2 wheels do that is inherently different than a 4-wheel vehicle.
Nice. Right. Yeah, because I only asked that because of the new suspension system you're talking about. Definitely makes the 2 wheels a little bit more viable compared to before, where it wasn't as easy because of the balancing issues.
Yeah. Now the quads, there's a couple of quad bikes out there that are a little sketch in 118 that I think are going to be more stable in 119.
Which is good.
Nice.
Yeah. And then there's the things like horses that I know have been tried.
With the radiators, yes. But I do know that Hunter has been working on stuff like that. And
yes, he has.
I'm really, really happy. Right, I'm just going to take a quick moment. Like, that guy is a fantastic modder. He's created some really awesome stuff. And if nobody in chat has tried out his mods, you definitely should. Definitely give him a shot, and I can't wait for him to publish his horses.
Absolutely.
I want those horses.
he's got some real genius going on there on top of just being a machine. Like he just cranks stuff out.
He is just you are right, he's an actual machine. Like, I've never known anybody that can like crank out the work that they do in so little time. It is fantastic. It's amazing. He's probably like one of the few people in the community that I would be like, you know what, mate, you should actually probably like work for BI or something like that. You know, make your dog mod vanilla. Go on. You know you want to. They planned it ages ago. Go on. Why not? And nice. Bubson's just said unicycles with a clown, so it's like, you know, why not? That'll be great.
Why not?
Do that again.
No. If you want to see me do it again, rewind the stream. But yes,
I'm going to add that into the podcast episode. When you say rewind, is it really going to rewind back to that?
Oh yeah, and it's like Groundhog Day. It just keeps repeating itself over and over and over again. Yeah, okay. Nice.
Just once is fine.
No, but that is actually really it's really interesting that, you know, obviously you discussed with the situation with the bikes, and I know it's something that's a lot of people's been asking for, even as like kind of like a modding base. I've already kind of like accepted that's never going to happen, but I do certainly welcome any change that could allow even the slightest possibility of something stable when it comes to that. You know, we've seen loads of different kinds of vehicles come in. Obviously, your helicopters. We've seen different kind of like boat mods. We've got the raft mod that came out quite some time ago. Different kind of vehicle mods. We've had Hummers, Humvees, and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to see what these new tools essentially can open the path for now. I know the automatic stuff is going to be really great for certain vehicles, for certain types of maps, which is going to be really, really nice, especially maps that kind of like focus on the American aspect of things, because all you guys drink? No. All you guys drive automatics? Oh yeah, drink automatics. Yeah, just put the full... It's been a long week, alright, shut up. Been a long fucking week, alright. But no, I will say that completely threw me off, that edition, but I certainly welcome it, and I really like the configuration that they've introduced with these new systems to make it easier for server owners, especially to configure stuff like that. Do mods also allow that configuration? I'd imagine there would be. Like, I imagine it'd be very easy to just apply that kind of like effect to it.
Absolutely. There was something else I forgot to mention. So I did bring up kind of at the top that when I tried my helis initially, they just completely would crash the server, and that's really the same thing with any modded vehicles. But I know that I did see a post that BI is going to be putting out a compatibility component designed for vehicle mods. Yeah, for vehicle mods that aren't maintained, which there are some that are out there that aren't actively maintained, that you could use this compatibility piece to make the old mod work in the new system.
Isn't that kind of like an if-def? I'm pretty sure I saw something like that. I kind of had a look at a little bit of like the car script, like a little like a few days ago, because I was being naughty and tried to, you know, sneak peek and stuff. And I did see a section there where it was like for the old compatibility. So I was like, right, okay, so is it... At first I thought it was the case of they've obviously brought in the new system, but there's still elements of the old one that's still there to make sure that everything works until it's fully transitioned. But now that you've said that kind of makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, so it's going to be, I think it's just an overlay that realigns the config with the new system. Which that's great that they put that out. Yeah, don't.
I think BI deserves more props on this.
Oh no, they absolutely do. Yeah,
we're all worried about vehicles breaking with the new update, but this allows a vehicle modder. Let's say you're scratched for time. You can't work on your vehicle mod for like another week. You can just throw this if-def inside of your vehicle mod
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about rushing to fix it with 1.19.
Mm.
So I think maybe I misunderstood when you said outdated because I was thinking about mods that were abandoned or no longer actually being maintained. But when you say outdated, I wasn't thinking about 1.18 and 119, 1.18 cars being outdated. I was just thinking like they just didn't get updated yet. But this is cool. This is BI directly making an effort for modders to not get screwed over an update.
Right. Exactly.
For once.
That's pretty big. This is the first time that I've ever seen them do something like this.
But I think in my opinion, it's good that they only do it for this, because with other systems, you need to get rid of the old to bring in the new. But it's good that the developers have kind of recognized, okay, it is a completely brand new system. We understand that everybody's going to be able to transition easily. Throw them a bone a little bit, at least for a limited time, and see where it goes. Because you can almost guarantee that in the next couple of updates, that whole if-def will be gone.
Well, they might do it the very next update. They might be like, guys, by the way, you've had a whole update to adapt. We're removing this because we want to get rid of the code completely.
That's it. And do you...
That's awesome.
Do you kind of agree with that kind of stance, Falcon?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Nice.
it gets into a situation where, you want to make players want to see significant changes. Modders dread significant changes.
Yeah.
Because it's okay. Now I'm not going to do any new development. I'm going to spend the next 3 cycles just getting my stuff to work the way it did before. Now that being said, I think I completely agree. I think it's awesome that they're recognizing the value of the modders and the mods to the game community and providing that support. But in the spirit of give me an inch and I'll take a mile,
Yeah.
I would sure love to see a channel of communication about changes and details in the game targeted for modders. So, hey, we're going to be adding these new classes and this is what they do, or we're going to be making changes to this, that, or the other thing that may impact you if you're doing, weapons mods. There's going to be some things you want to be aware of, rather than some of it, I guess, is part of the fun is trying to figure out the game and what they've done. But it sure would be nice to provide better service for our players in the community to get a better channel from
I agree.
BI developers.
I would have to say, though, I am happy, though, with the new diagnostic tools. Like documentation was very thorough and very well written. Like even somebody who, like me, who's never used them before, can read it well. But also with Steve and chat talking about them putting out a documentation about all the new vehicle stuff and all that kind of things. I'm starting to see that BI is actually starting to make an effort to start to educate the modding and even the server owner and player community about the changes they're doing a little bit. So hopefully we see what you just suggested, RedFalcon, maybe come to fruition one day.
Yeah, that would be great.
Please. See that, because that's the thing. Because obviously in the past, the devs, they were kind of, when it came to documentation, they've been a bit funny with it, to say the least. And we're all modders here. We know what I mean. Non-existent. So it's nice to know that that they've took a different stance to it, and they're recognizing a lot more about what the modding community is capable of, and probably just thinking, if they actually knew the stuff that we knew, how much more effective can their modding capabilities be? Because at the end of the day, and I kind of said this in the last episode, DayZ's not going to be around forever. They are going to be stopping development at some point in the future, and it will eventually be down to the modding community to keep it propped up. I mean, there's games from 20 years ago that are still getting maintained by mods. I mean, it's crazy. And DayZ is going to be one of those games, so I'm all up for that. More tools, the more information, the absolute better. Do you ever feel like there's a concern, Falcon, that they will end up just stopping working on stuff like this in the near future at all? Do you think they're not going anywhere anytime soon?
I think that I mean that's just kind of piggybacks on what I
Mm,
said earlier, which is this level of change and work being done signals to me that they're going to be around for a bit.
yeah.
They're not. They wouldn't be doing this stuff if they're going to be kind of mothballing it or locking it down to okay, this is our 1.20 is the final version or something like that.
That'd be so
I don't
redundant.
really see that. I don't see that happening.
Mhm.
That being said, it's not always the engineering teams that have control of that,
No.
and there
Yeah,
certainly could be things that happen within BI that shift just around monetization and that sort of thing. But what I'm seeing from the engineering team indicates to me that we've still got a long dead road ahead of us.
definitely. It
Oh,
also
hell
shows they're
yes.
getting funding. Like
Yeah,
they're not being bare boned or not getting access to stuff, which is good.
yeah,
Mhm. Which is the best thing
and
for it.
and I know I'd heard tell, I think that was like towards the end of last year that the dev team was down to kind of near bare bones, and they didn't have all the skills that they needed. So it sounds like they've that situation has changed.
Well, see, that's it.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of people, and this is common knowledge, especially to those in this community, that the dev team was bare bones. They were essentially a skeleton crew for,
Right.
I assume, Reforger, but now that Reforger is out and they've got a more dedicated team there, a lot more is working on DayZ, and it shows. Like the last 2 years, it definitely shows. And Mark's is saying here in chat as well, I would assume 120 will be a small enough update similar to last year. Absolutely. Yeah, it'll be another minor update. And
yeah.
with that, I mean, just as comparison, so last year, 114, obviously we got the toxic clouds and everything like that, but we also got our first bullpup weapon, first brand new animations, which I believe was the FAMAS, right? Then in 115, we then got a new weapon, which the community extremely wanted, which was the AUG. Do you think that they're going to do a similar thing, but for the vehicles? The bus, for example, is a very highly sought out after vehicle that the community wants. They want the party bus back. Do you
Right.
see any sign from what you've messed around with, or even if you think, do you think it would actually they'll bring out the party bus? And I hope
Yeah,
it does.
100%. I'm just not sure when, but there's definitely
Mm,
sign of it in there. So
nice.
Well, you should have said yes. It's coming next update, and then
Yeah, there you go. Get him to that trap.
yeah.
but
No
but
buts.
Red Falcon said Red Falcon doesn't know anything.
He's the vehicle expert. He knows what he's talking about. He said, "I'll get my party bus," and I don't. I just
There,
have the
there,
baby
lad.
bus. No, but no, that is actually. It would be interesting if we get something like that back. It would be really, really cool. Um, it's been a week. You still haven't finished that gallon soda. How do you know I haven't
Half a
bought a
bus,
new?
give me a man.
How do you know I haven't bought a new one? How do you know that?
Because that'd be pathetic.
Yeah, it would be actually. Yeah, yeah. It's yeah.
Oh my gosh. You know what I would like, and this is probably gonna be silly, but I would like a log sled.
A log
And what
sled.
would that do other than just sled and be a log?
Well, so what it would do is you could it's a craftable item that you can attach planks or building logs to, and you can attach so many, and then your character can literally drag it wherever they need to.
Nah, roller skates. That's what I want.
Roller skates, nice.
Mate,
Yeah, just think about like how unrealistic is it for someone to pick up a building log and walk it slowly back? You would just create a contraption and drag it back to your base for building.
what
That's
is this?
true.
What is this, the forest?
Exactly. I'm just kidding. No, just little cool things like that. Like maybe some interesting things would be interesting. Just maybe not fully wheeled stuff, but maybe maybe a fun wheelbarrow. I'm kidding. No. I'm just kidding.
Why not? Why
Make
not?
a canoe out of building logs.
Marx is asking you to build a jetpack Falcon.
You know, I have explored that a bit.
You actually have.
I have,
Okay.
because it would be freaking awesome. It's a tough one. I have to figure out there's some things in there that making a thing that's like a small jetpacky vehicle that you have to climb into, which I think there's a mod out there that's like that. That's possible because it's just a pretend helicopter.
Yeah.
But actually something that you put on like a backpack that like would go in the backpack slot that would then be a jetpack.
That's very difficult.
Yeah, that's some next level stuff. I'm not saying it's impossible, but yeah, get to it.
You could just do the one that they had from the I think the 80s. It's a big, huge white one, had the huge handlebars.
Oh, God, yes.
You know, it's not gonna be like the Rocketeer movie, but you know, it'll be realistic.
Yes. I think one of the other ones I get a lot of requests for is a parachute.
Yeah, I think the expansion worked on something like that. They had to scrap it because
they
it was
did.
Just, yeah.
Yeah, it was. I know that. Yeah, the expansion team did have something like that early on. It created a lot of collateral damage. With I think it ended up affecting fall damage for all players type thing.
Yes, I remember that.
I remember that.
Mate, it was so great how you could just jump from any height and you'd be fine. Mate, those are the glory days.
Right. Or you could jump over a roof.
I remember when they first introduced that, and you could literally like if you get to a slight angle, and the best thing to do was to jump off like some rubble or something like that. You would literally launch in the air, and it was mate, bring that back for an April Fool's update.
I remember when that was first introduced to me. Somebody was all like, "I don't think this is supposed to happen," as they jumped across the hotel over the hotel in Chernow, and I'm all like, "No."
That was so funny.
And yeah, but it's crazy. Haha, boy.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. Yeah, okay. What? You didn't have to do that. I don't know what you're on about. Like, honestly, like you have to do that to get on the show. Like, I mean, fuck.
Yeah, Handy was good enough.
It really. No.
So aside from that, I did make a what I called a skydive mod. Somebody asked me for it. That is it's a stone like obelisk, and when you walk up to it, it gives you the prompt skydive, and if you hit F, it teleports you 500 meters in the air, and you fall, and that's it.
You know, Hunter should put that in his prison mod.
I've sprinkled those around on a couple of my servers, just in random spots where there's like an old castle or rubble, and people see it and go, "What's this? I want to go skydiving." And then,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's just one way. Like, you're just trying to. It'd be even better if you falsely named it as something else, like dig up, and then you literally just
reach the heavens.
Yes.
Dig up into heaven. There you go. Sort it out. No, but
the original use case was somebody put it in their safe zone in their trader, and so their players would go get the umbrellas from, I think, Much Stuff Pack or something, and then do a Mary Poppins where they teleport en masse and then all fly down with their umbrellas.
If any of those people are in chat and you guys have ever clipped a video of that, show it to us. It'd be hilarious to see.
Oh yes, please. I'm Mary Poppins, yo. Oh my god, great stuff. Really, really great stuff. No, but I'm really excited with the future of these new vehicle systems. I really can't wait to see what the team come up with, but I really can't wait to see what the modding community can do. Obviously, it's common knowledge that it's come from Reforger, like current Infusion, 2022 Infusion, and there's a lot of stuff that they can do over there. Obviously, I would assume some of that stuff is kind of limited to, compared to the two games, so we'd be able to do quite a lot of stuff, but not as much as Reforger. Have you messed around with Reforger at all, actually?
I have not got into the modding end of it yet. So I played it a few times. Certainly, I jumped on it right away just to see what's all this then. But that's definitely an area that I'll probably start digging into.
Yeah.
That and I recently downloaded all of the Unreal Engine stuff too, and started looking at look at all the things you can do in here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And look at how much of my life could go down the drain messing around with Unreal Engine 5. So.
Yeah, no, we'll just stay to our crappy dated as hell engine. It's fine, essentially on life support at this point, but it's fine. No, we'll screw Unreal Engine 5, even though it looks enticing by the day. I want to fucking try that engine out. No, but that's it is strange how there's so much more that you can do on the kind of like the other engines, and like you can transfer a lot of knowledge from like DayZ to other engines, but not necessarily the other way around. From my gathering, I could be completely bloody wrong on that, and I hope I am, because knowledge.
Our handicap works to our advantage in other engines. It does not work the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that if you're talking about character animations and not the players, but animations of creatures, and the whole animating an armature and skeleton configs and all that, I think it does translate.
Right.
And I've seen a few mods come out recently. That there's one that's Pseudo Giant, that's I think from Stalker,
the Stalker Z servers, yeah.
But they did a fantastic job with custom animations and a custom skeleton on that, where he does a little move if you're close, where he'll slam his fist on the ground, and it does it makes everything bounce, which is really fun if those get near any base building stuff, because it makes all the walls and things fly in the air and land all cattywampus.
Interesting.
But that's stuff that you can, I think, learn easier in Blender, and even in Unreal Engine. You can test stuff out really quick. But I think that knowledge translates directly back to DayZ if you want to get into some higher level creature animations.
Yes. No, yeah. I mean, I quite like what the Stalker Z guys have been doing. I actually helped them very recently with some light config stuff, kind of like teaching them a couple of bits and bobs here and then. I haven't checked to see if they've actually implemented it yet, and if they have, then where's my credit? I want my royalties. But but it is really cool how, as time's gone on, modders have kind of figured out how to mess with systems that they really weren't able to before. Even when modding came out, if somebody were to ask me, do you think there'll ever be like modded helicopters coming out? Nah, not a chance. But here you are.
There I am.
But yeah, it is crazy. Like Bodhi's just said, if you watched the old 0.5 release video yesterday, vehicles come so far now, and it's true, and it's only going to get better, I believe. I really do think it's going to get better, and we're still going to get some of the old issues, I think, like not as much. I mean, I know a new one's kind of cropped up where you go at like 2 million miles per hour into the void, and you've got all the sounds playing at once. Have you experienced that with any of your testing?
I have. There are still some of the what I call getting sent to the cornfield, which is an old Twilight Zone reference, where you end up in the debug location.
Right.
I've seen a little bit of that in some of the testing, and like you said, some of where it seems like
My
you
question:
cross dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
does the old car graveyard still exist?
The old car graveyard.
Yeah. So on the southeast coastal military evac point, if you had, I believe it's like 400 meters into the ocean towards debug, there's an area that was in like 1.08 all the way till New Dawn shut down. We called it the car graveyard. If someone told me that their car suddenly disappeared, I knew where to find it. It was there.
Okay,
The car
so
would
they're
literally teleport there.
interesting.
I think that must be like the
Interesting.
000 point
Yeah,
of the map.
that's what I was thinking of as the debug location. Because I've had a few where somebody sent me a screenshot saying, they did something with their heli. It usually had to do with a combination of them getting out of the heli at the same time that it crashed or something, and where they
Mm-hmm.
ended up in debug and they were in the middle of the ocean, standing on several different, I think there were base building plus items that clearly had also bugged out and got sent to debug.
Right.
Yeah.
So there is still some of that fun that goes
Yep.
on. There's still a little bit of issue with when you get out of a vehicle, and this is, I think, mainly with the helis, where sometimes it's like you trip or you get a little stutter where I'm in the middle of nowhere, and then okay, now I'm back to where I'm supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, speaking about weird things and stuff like that. So we all talked about how they have said they have fixed the ability to get under the map, and they have. I saw some people testing, had some of my friends testing, and it actually looks like they did a really good job. Of course, people are going to still find a way in, but it's really cool. One of my friends somehow got under the map, and he started literally. It wouldn't let him fall under the map anymore. Like he got under the map, he was under the map, but he wasn't falling to the water. It just kept
Oh,
trying to
interesting.
put him back up on the surface. So even if
Okay.
you can get under the map, you just start going as it tries to put you on the surface. Which was really cool to see because they actually put in like a safety measure. Not only did they fix like getting pushed through the map, but they're all like, if you get pushed through the map, we have a secondary thing to try to stop you, which I thought was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I actually had to put in something like that in the helis, because you get a certain speed and you could bust through the map. And so I just put points around it, and if the points get slightly below the map, it just forces the whole thing above. So
Mm-hmm.
similar algorithm, but yeah, that's another one of those unfortunate things where admins have to deal with.
Yeah, well,
Something
that's
happened
it.
and I
Yeah.
jumped, and now I'm under the map and I'm dead. I lost
Well,
all my gear.
that's just fucking tough luck, boy.
Yeah, that's DayZ.
You got DayZ. You can't really help with that. Michael's just said in chat here, cars need to be more durable to make up for the random glitchiness of the driving mechanic, so they can get it tuned in better. You know what? Yes, I actually agree with that, 100%. I know that they, in the recent hotfix, that they have improved the durability. Like, it's okay. It's actually quite funny. I'm gonna quickly pull up the new experimental patch notes. One of them here is game fixed. The starting up of the M1025 would disappear after the engine started. Reduce damage to the engine by extreme RPMs. Crashing into objects with the M1025 at low speeds would still result, and then it just cuts off. And I'm just like, results in what? Results in what? What are you not telling us? What results in what? Please tell us. And they still haven't fixed it, so I've got no idea what the hell that actually fixed. Seriously. Really no idea. But so they're still continuing to make sure that it does work properly as intended in making sure that the cars are more reliable. I would imagine that with these new physics, these new systems, that it's more in tune with the Humvee. Would you kind of agree with that? Obviously, every single vehicle's different, but do you think they've actually took the time to accommodate the rest of the vehicles that are in the game?
I think so. I think just from the couple that I've messed with, there's definitely a better feel to them in the way they handle. And even between the initial experimental release and the hotfix, the Humvee, I think, drove quite a bit better. It was it steered a bit like a cow, I think, in the initial release, and it's definitely gotten better. So
yeah, it was kind of funky, to be fair. But
yep.
I'm just kind of thinking, because obviously a lot of people that have been complaining legitimately about the strength of the Humvee. Do you feel like that vehicle overall, but again with your testing, needs a more of a buff to be more powerful? Because as Mark said here, I drove over a tiny rock wall with the Humvee and it ruined half the car. Obviously, I haven't really tested it that much, so I can't really say for certain if that is a thing. But with statements like that, do you think that Humvees do generally need more of a buff?
They absolutely do. Yeah, that whole thing like you're driving around your Ada and you bump into a signpost not going very fast, and now your radiator's ruined, and half the car is almost dead. With a Humvee, that's just not going to happen.
No, God, no. Those things are built like a brick shit house.
Those are beasties.
Yes, they ain't. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm hoping that they do end up buffing it, and I hope they do end up continuing to improve on those systems. Definitely. I'm just kind of reading a few comments in chat here. With new gen cars on console are 10 times better. Ping has a lot to do with it, but especially with passengers, which is fantastic. And Boys just said here the Humvee isn't an ordinary start, but I've been impressed with the Olga. Small low walls do basic nothing to it, and it's easy to get it unstuck as well. Now it seems, which is great. The Olga's definitely a good vehicle, and it's great that you can get that sorted out, I suppose. But I will definitely say that the Humvee definitely needs more of a buff, but it is a new vehicle. They're still going to continue to improve upon it to make it function better and last a lot longer. I just hope that they do it sooner than later. Otherwise, people's just not going to bother with it if they know that they're going to ride over a little wall, which it reasonably should, and then it's pretty much half dead already. So there you go.
Well, we've still got what we've got
about
2+ weeks before release, 2.5.
Yeah, we've got about 2.5. Yes, because that was one of the things I wanted to discuss as well. They announced the stable release date, which was the 18th, I believe it was, Tuesday the 18th. Do you feel like that's enough time?
I think so. I mean, it's a kind of a split thing, because you don't want to spend too much time sitting in that kind of halfway point where there's something out there that's experimental, but not so much. And then on the flip side, there are changes that are affecting modders and work that has to be done. Hopefully with the compatibility piece, that will reduce that pain a bit.
Yes.
But like I said, I spent, I think, a day and a half with my stuff ready to go. Assuming they don't change anything significant between now and then.
Yeah. I mean, considering you've essentially made a completely brand new vehicle type, the fact that you managed to get it sorted out with like a day and a half is pretty much a testament of what they have done to make sure that the transition process is smooth.
Right, exactly.
Dump, what do you think? Do you think that's enough time?
It's more time than we usually get.
Yeah, to be fair.
And also, they did say in the tweet, or like they said, I forget what they said exactly, but it was pretty much like a maybe. If all goes well, I think they said. I think they really
Right.
say if all goes well. So like they're already kind of slightly admitting that like the date could get pushed back a little bit.
I mean, it's good that they're being ambitious when it comes to it, that they are announcing that date. Great. I don't think it is enough time. I think that there are some issues that they need to kind of like address. I know one of the major things, one of the major blockages is with obviously the new inertia system that they've kind of introduced or at least improved upon with the collision stuff. Now, I talked to a couple of people already about it, and they have said that it's not fixed, which is shitty. It sucks, considering they said that most of it has been sorted out. So I don't know. We'll just have to see if that time is going to work out well. Have you, obviously you've done a lot of vehicle testing, Falcon, but have you done like just normal gameplay? Like, have you just played it as normal?
No, so far it's just been focused
Mod
on
testing.
testing vehicles and some of the things like has the network bubble configurations changed significantly or that sort of thing.
Right.
But I probably will with the time we have.
Yeah.
That's one of the things. So being a software engineer in real life,
Yes.
I'm really big on the agile methodology and the idea you want to get features in customers' hands as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
So that you can get feedback and iterate. And when we go through these experimental releases, it seems like there are people that try them, there are modders that look at them, but there's always a big scramble when it releases because either people didn't really dig into it or there's I didn't realize this was going to affect my mod this way.
Yeah.
So I think the sooner we can get that safely into players' hands, the sooner we're going to start to get signal about things that maybe aren't egregious issues, which hopefully they'll fix all those, but are things that, we didn't realize by changing this, there's a knock-on effect to that. And we won't know that until it's in players' hands and then people start complaining.
Yeah, because even when an update comes to stable, we usually typically get another hotfix update about a couple of weeks after that or so. So I'm kind of like relying on that a little bit. If they do decide, 18th of October is going to be the date we'll get in it, which, to be fair, I do welcome. At the same time, it means that more people that don't want to play an experimental get their hands on it and they play it, especially those on console. I know there's a bit of an issue with players on there not being able to play on Livonia and Experimental, and PlayStation users, they just don't get it. So I do welcome that they do get it out then. I just hope that the update will go smoothly and they do take a little bit of time with 120. But we'll just have to see when it comes down to it. We'll just have to see, because there's still a lot for them to kind of like work on, to kind of like improve. But I suppose the base systems that they wanted to introduce, we finally got in. It does work, but again, just a little bit of tweaking, and then we'll be sailing. We'll be good to go, hopefully.
Yep.
We'll see. I got no idea. Boydie's just gave a great tip in chat. I'm getting to be an expert in getting my player unbugged. Crouch in the direction of the object you think has caught. Walk backwards seems to work every time so far. Right, I'll have to keep that in mind, because usually when I get stuck, I just stand there like, and then I can move. So we'll see. Lucas says hopefully 120 works on soft skills. That would be really cool. That'd be really great. Documentation update when? No idea. I know the vehicles is coming out next week, but the other ones for the Diag tools, they're already out. Isn't that right, Dump?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I'll have to.
First patch notes.
Yeah.
Bottom of the thing where it says modders, and it's a very small list. I'm just kidding. It's a big list.
Speaking of the Humvee being crap, check out my recent tweet. You know what, Marks? No, I don't think I will. I think I'm just going to ignore your tweet. Okay.
It says, "Hi, I'm Marks. I can't drive a vehicle." I'm just kidding. In that monotone voice too.
Oh Lord, okay. I'm gonna put this tweet in chat for people to watch. There, I'm going to quickly set up my, because I didn't expect to use the crow stuff. As you can see, it is not working. So just give me a second there.
That's hilarious.
What?
I had it right. I'm just kidding.
Right.
Just kidding.
I can't say chat. 2 cents.
I would have to say, as far as I know about soft skills, they're abandoned.
At this point, yeah, there's no fucking point. Right.
Okay. Whatever remnants there are in the code is just oversights. Actually, if you are a modder, do not use soft skills. They are broken and they can cause some interesting things to happen. Do not let your players earn them.
I mean, some mods do it pretty decently.
Well, no, I mean, that's them actually making their own soft skills. I'm talking about the vanilla soft skills.
Oh,
they
yeah,
have their issues.
Yeah, absolutely don't. I've put the link to Marx's tweet in this voice channel chat. Falcon, if you want to watch the video alongside ourselves.
Okay.
Just let us know when you guys have got the video, because I do want to watch this.
Watch him again? I'm kidding.
Yeah, you are going to watch it again. Get with it. Right. You guys ready?
Yep.
Right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Make sure you turn us.
Ooh.
What? Yeah, they don't steer very well. I think the engine might be broke, but it's okay. We have some.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Out, chat.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh no.
No.
Oh no.
The car is aft.
Are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious?
Oh my
You
gosh.
can't be. You're joking me.
Oh, at least the tires
It
are
just
alright.
slid all the way down. Piece of shit.
Skill issue. Absolutely skill issue.
Yeah, skill issue. Definitely.
Oh, bless your heart, Marks. Well, you know what to do for next time? Don't drive the Humvee, because you're shit.
I think the damage coefficients need to be adjusted.
Just a bit.
Just a tiny bit.
Just a bit.
Do Humvees float myth busted? Yeah, totally.
But for those of you who don't know what a damage coefficient is, it literally says that if this part takes 100 damage, the player will take this much damage, and it's a percentage-based situation. It's pretty cool.
He might have not took some physical damage, but his ego took a hit. I tell you that.
Well, that shock, boom.
Oh, bless you. But yeah, so this is the point. You know, it's like, you know, they've still got a little bit of tweaking to go. But fingers crossed that they managed to get it right. Just a little bit, Mark. Still love you, but just a little bit.
I noticed that they have not yet introduced the drowning the player if the vehicle is underwater. Did they? Because there's been code in there for a while that was commented out.
Oh no, they said that in the patch notes. You can now drown, and I believe that's in the car now. You take shock damage. You pretty much just go uncon.
Awesome. Because I had to add that manually to Helly's.
Yeah, I tried to jump the Livonia River and I failed once or twice and drowned to death. So that's how I know.
Okay.
Oh,
that's great.
Nice.
It's really fun in the Nada. I almost cleared it twice.
But you didn't. So what's the point?
I know I failed, right? You know, whatever. I failed.
No, but that's it's really it's I just can't believe that. I'm in awe at Marks right now at that video. But good luck next time. Good luck for next time. There's been quite a lot of discussion about 119. Quite a lot. Dumper, aren't you starting to run out of time actually before I continue on?
A minute. at a time.
Right. Do you want to get yourself away?
Oh no, I'll dip at any time.
Okay. I'm just conscious. That's all.
You can't wait to get rid of me, folks. That's what's happening.
Yeah, fuck off. No, but
Oh baby.
oh yes, no, but so there's been a lot of discussion, quite a lot recently about 119, about the new bunkers. Which, Falcon, have you seen at all yet?
I have. Actually, that was probably the only part of the time that I spent actively playing was checking out the bunker in Livonia, and they did a nice job. And it's got very nice atmospherics and lots of little places to go, and the whole thing with the water valves and having to use teamwork to move around inside the tunnel. I think it's great.
Yeah, definitely. I do now have to go, but I would like to say one thing about the bunkers. It's in regard to some people complaining the pipe wrench now has no use other than mining rocks. The pipe wrench should be the way to make it so the valves can be turned.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Take care of yourself.
Cheers.
And he actually has a good point, to be fair. He actually has a really good point. I think that would be quite a nice little feature for them to have. Make more use of the wrench there. But maybe someone will mod that in. Maybe they'll be like, oh, hey, you know. Because the pipe wrench is virtually pointless at this point, which is a shame. Because it's a good melee weapon. Heavy, but that's all it is at this point, which is it is a bit of a shame.
I was sad that they took away that engine repair functionality with it.
Well, that's it exactly. And Michael, you're lucky that I like you, because that comment I could have just easily be like, "No, remove again. No, we're not having naughty talk here."
Okay then.
Naughty boy, but I really like the bunker. I haven't been to see it properly in game. I did take a quick little look. I wanted to see how the JSON file functions, see how that works, which is really nice. It's nice to see that they've brought in a vanilla feature, a vanilla version of that. Considering, you know, people have finally stopped asking Sumrak to use as code for their underground stuff, so which is great.
Yes.
I am actually quite interested in your opinion on a couple of things here, and then we'll wrap up, because today's stream is going to be a bit of a shorter one, everybody. So go back to what I was saying before. There's been quite a lot of discussion about this update, and one of them in particular was about the bunker. Quite a few people put out a few tweets, and building bases in a bunker. Do you think that is something that should be allowed on a vanilla server? Like, do you think there should be systems to stop that? Or do you think that it's kind of like, if you can get in there and secure it, it's yours? What do you think?
I think the key in what you just said was on a vanilla server. I think on a vanilla server, it's all bets are off.
Yeah, absolutely.
If someone can get their materials down in there and want to set something up and secure it, you know,
they should be able to.
That's the way it is. I think that it, obviously has some downsides if you've got higher tier loot spawning in there, that sort of thing. But vanilla server, you get what you get.
Well, that's it. That's the main thing.
Now with modded servers and so forth, obviously I would put constraints around that.
Yeah.
That would be a no build area for sure.
Yeah, I'd be putting in systems so you can build like in a kilometer of that particular area to prevent people from being naughty, you know.
Yes. On
vanilla servers, I think should be full reigns. You should be allowed to build wherever and whenever you want. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And if anything, if there's a group in a vanilla server who wants to get together to build a base there, great, they should be allowed to. But if there's another group on a vanilla server who wants to go in and completely wreck the place, again, they should be allowed to.
Yes.
Iceblades here says disagree. There's only one bunker, no bases. I don't get us wrong. I completely understand like the no bases argument, because you kind of cutting off a little bit of like the adventure there for other people, but you can still raid. You can still raid them. You know, you can still get in there once you open the door. It's 5 minutes. Sure, you may alert the protecting party, but if you've got a big enough group, you can still get in there. You should be okay.
And some of that gameplay is really up to the server admin and how they configure the economy.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a lot of raiding tools, or you've got an abundance of claymore mines and parts to make improvised explosives,
Mm-hmm.
you're just encouraging massive raiding. Same thing if you've got nails at every turn and saws and things like that available that make it super easy to go and build a million walls and gates, then you're going to end up with issues like people making massive bases inside a bunker or something. So that's a little control that we do have.
Yeah. And that's it. And it's like, you're saying about, when it comes to the modded servers, and, we kind of touched on that. Modded servers should be kind of like regulated by their own staff teams. And if they think that, shouldn't be allowed to build bases there, great, they can implement systems. If they do, there's like, if they encourage people to do that, then great. That's still perfectly okay. Heck, with modding tools, you can easily just create your own bunker with like teleportation and stuff like that. I've got an idea for that already, to be fair. I can understand why people wouldn't want that to happen, but I fully encourage any group to secure off any part of the map. It's like if you want to cut off Cherno and build a massive wall around it and you can secure it, go for it. If you want to do it for Tizzy or Northwest Airfield or anywhere in Livonia, you should be allowed to do that. Absolutely. Right.
If you think you can, if you have a big enough group to build it and hold it.
If you can do it, even better. That's the thing. Because for a fact there'll be some mega clan which will go on a server and they'll try it. And they might succeed, but they might fail. And that's like kind of like the big part of DayZ for me. I mean, don't get us wrong, I don't do the raiding aspect, but the concept of a group actually going in a town or a bunker or something like that and actually securing it is pretty awesome to me. Gee, Salmons is saying, you're smoking crack, lad. I mean, I just like the concept of people doing that. I just like the concept of people like building up anywhere that they absolutely want to. And if they can secure it, then they should. I think they should be allowed to. Exactly. If you say no, someone will try. And there's always going to be servers out there that's going to allow it and disallow it. And again, it all comes down to, do you want to play in a server which people can build a bunker? Yes, go for it. If not, there's other servers out there.
Right.
And Marx has just said there, how we raid in DayZ's new bunker, I can see that title being used. Mate, that would be a killer video. G Salmons with vanilla base building, yes. With BBP, no. Now that's completely, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I completely agree with that too.
Yeah, again, it all comes down to kind of like what the server, that your server owner wants to do when it comes to that. Obviously, it is what it is. But I think why not? I think why not? Heck, and if a group stays there for a certain amount of time, server owner can easily just reduce the loot there so they can't abuse it.
That's correct.
Simple as. And another thing I kind of want to get your thoughts on. One more thing. And Boydie and I, we kind of had a heated discussion a couple of nights ago about it. It was earlier this week. And it was about community DLC map. Now, he firmly believes that the DayZ devs should do one. And they kind of need to do one.
Right.
I argued that it's not feasible because of the time, logistics, manpower, stuff like that. They need to focus on other stuff. I could understand his argument, and I completely get it. I'm kind of interested. Do you think that BI will ever kind of allow a community DLC map or update, kind of akin to what they do for the Armor series?
Oof. Um, I think where I fall is right in the middle of that
Mm,
debate, which is I think it would, as a concept, it would be awesome. I think logistically it's probably impossible.
yeah.
I think it would end up just being a hot mess.
See, I want to believe that they will. I don't get. I want to believe, because that's the thing. It's like there's so many factors that go into it to make sure that the community map or update or whatever is all polished and legal, because a lot of modders will use assets from like other games and other stuff that they don't exactly have the rights to, but they'll still use it because they can.
Yep.
And they can't. They can't. Well, they can get in trouble, but companies they're not gonna. They're not gonna like put a modder in prison or like through the courts just because they used like a Coca-Cola logo or some shit like that, right? You know, just stuff like
Right.
that. But obviously, a company like BI, yeah, they can get sued. So I want to believe that they'll do one, and if they ever do one, fucking finally he turns up. Hello, where you been? Git. I want to believe that if they ever do a community map, it'll be something kind of like a jungle or snow map, because there's been a lot of focus on that quite a lot lately.
Yeah.
And Iceblade said if they do it for A3, they can do it for DayZ. Again, I want to think that they can. It's just there's a lot to go into it, to make sure that it's all done properly. But I would really love to hear your thoughts. Obviously, you're a very talented modder, and I love you.
Thank you.
Lemons, what the hell are you doing?
Can you hear that?
Yes,
Yes.
Oh, it's got, I'm on my iPhone right now.
that's a long 5 minutes.
Yeah. No, there was supposed to be a 0 at the end.
Yeah, no, that's about right. Yeah. Oh,
50 minutes.
piss off. Not you. I still love you.
Oh, okay, bye.
No, don't. No, we just got another porn bot in the chat. That's all.
Oh, my
Again,
favorite.
so shut up. So
So
Damn it,
I-
I got in here.
to get us back in the
Yes.
middle of the road, so to speak. So I think that, yeah, I think I would love to see that. I think it's got a lot of challenges. Some of those that you mentioned, like the assets and stuff,
Mhm.
that there are ways to work around that. But like having a consistent style guide and standards so that you have consistency across a map,
Mhm.
where you've got different people with different sections or different people doing different uh, types of work, trying to get it to tie all together and not feel like a Frankenstein. I
Yeah.
think that's one of the toughest things.
That is very tough, because I mean I know with the very controversial Eden map that was pulled from the workshop, there was a lot of mixture of assets there, but the general feel of what people liked was it was a tropical map, which is really nice. But it is difficult to make sure that everything does fit the same style. Sorry, chat. Sorry, chat. Darkwings just said, "Do I hear the Giga Chad Lemons?" No, you don't, because he's muted right now. But that's kind of like one of the things as I've worked on. It's very difficult to kind of like stay with the same style, because at least for me, I always kind of like change. Even if I'm working on a model or texture, like one day and I'm like, right, I'm gonna go back to the next day. My whole process, my whole thought and mindset changes from day to day, so it's very difficult to keep to that. But obviously, when you're part of a massive team and you have regular meetings and whatever else, I'd assume it's a lot more easier to do that.
Yeah, that's where you have to have kind of what we call like a painted picture or a vision that's a consistent overall vision, and then that's not tied to details. And the details, as long as they align with the vision, you're good. But you have to
Yeah.
really have somebody, riding the whip on keeping everybody in line with that vision.
Yeah.
asking those hard questions, where someone may have fallen in love with something that they're doing that doesn't match the vision, and they're really trying to jam it in there.
Yes, I mean, I definitely know that, because like I have been part of some communities and some projects where it's like there is a conflict of vision or style, and it is sitting. I'll turn off on, and it's kind of like sitting down and making sure that everybody is on the same page and everyone's on an equal understanding of what's going on there. So it is good that people end up doing that, but it is just hard. It's very, very hard.
It's hard.
But
on top of that, I was going to say map building is hard work, and we've seen that with a number of maps that have come out recently. I mean, that broke my heart when Eden got pulled down, but I understand why.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ, yeah, I definitely understand why. Naughty boy, very naughty boy. I'm telling you now, naughty.
Yes.
But I really do hope that
don't realize like the work that goes into that kind of stuff, you know, because
no, it's very hard.
a lot of people think it's just like modular. Oh yeah, you just drag and drop, it's good to go. There's your map, right? But like,
it's
if
really
you make
not
a full map from the ground up, you got to make the terrain. You got to make the textures for the terrain. Like you got to get your satellite. You got to get your textures, all that stuff. That's the first part.
But
then you have to make your foliage, like your foliage. Then you have to make your trees and your grass and just like the rocks and stuff like that. And then you have to move on to the buildings. And if you're not using like the A3 or the A2 assets, I'm not sure if you ever watched that kind of stuff. But making buildings is not the most fun thing.
Well, even before all of that, you've kind of got to get the concept out there. Like, what are you going for? Like, what kind of map style are you going for? Because I know there's different maps out there which is completely different styles. Essica, God forbid that map, bless it. Banov, Deer Isle, Iztec, Takistan. They're all completely different styles. Namask especially, and they've all got different levels of I wouldn't say interactability, but it's how much you repeat going back into that. Like Namask is kind of like my baby. I love and exclusively play that on stable. XB has kind of changed that, so I'll be playing a lot more Livonia now. But there needs to be something new, and if BI, going back to the kind of like original topic, if BI were to approach a group of modders, or a group of modders were to approach BI, and they were to actually like figure something out, if it was in BI's interests, then that would be fantastic. I would love to see a fully fledged American map, everything completely remade. I would love to see something like that. But remaking assets or completely doing like replacing, yeah, no, that shit ain't easy. That shit is not easy at all. So
not at all.
It's a one-man show too, because a lot of that stuff is usually delegated between like teams of people. Like one team would strictly be doing modeling or environment design, or like, but if it's one person or a small group of people working on it for like the workshop,
it's hard. Yeah,
they can get very ambitious very quickly.
And that's the thing. It's that you kind of want to dial it back a little bit to make sure that it is feasible, and then the outrageous stuff you can just update in the future. Boydie said every issue is one that the groups who have done Armored DLC have already overcome. Stop putting up obstacles. The only issue is it can include console if DayZ allows us to start one. I mean, I'm not the one putting up... What is it with this bloody chat? Naughty! Naughty, thank you, Marks.
Map development.
No, go away. Go away. Someone is persistent out there. Someone's just like, these boys are talking about DayZ. They need to get some other entertainment there. Naughty.
Maybe the forum mod just wants to learn, you know, what DayZ's like, you know. There you go.
Yeah, that's a great gateway again. Oh, I remember getting into DayZ by looking up chats 69 on somebody's stream. Yes, totally. Yeah, okay. No, but don't get us wrong, buddy. I want to see it happen, but I'm just kind of like the mindset where I kind of like understand the process behind it, and I've tried to explain it to you. Do you have sub-only chat on? No, that probably will never happen, Marks. To be fair, that's never going to happen. I don't mind just getting rid of that bot for Cinnamon time. But going back to it, that's kind of like what I think. I think it would be really nice to see. I personally don't think it will happen, but I would like to be proven wrong. Definitely. Absolutely. Probably as well do that, Marks, in the future, to be fair. Probably as well. Because it just doesn't take that long to press the sub button. But with that, like I said, I wanted to make it a bit of a short one this weekend. Unfortunately, there's stuff going on in the background. But I just want to say thank you, RedFalcon, to coming in. Thank the lad champ moment. Thanks, mate. No, but it's been absolutely fantastic having you come back onto the show to share your knowledge and to share your experience of what you kind of messed around with the tool sets. It's been absolutely wonderful hearing about the possibilities and also an update with what you've been working on. It's been absolutely fantastic. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be back. I'm as you know, I'm always happy to drop in from time to time, and I'm always talking to you guys. So
absolutely, no, it's been an absolute
big fan of
pleasure.
the show. Yeah.
Oh, bless you. I really am happy to hear that. I'm always worrying about. And of course, chat's like we'll wait for jetpacks. So, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Marks will make the video on it. You'll be famous. You'll be all right by then. But but yes. So next week, just since Boydie's plugged it here in chat, I also want to discuss that very quickly. The PvP debate going on next week. That Boydie is organising. I definitely recommend you check that out. I'm probably not going to be there in time to watch it, but it's going to be really interesting to see what the outcome is. Really looking forward to that. Lemons, you're moderating that as well, aren't you?
Good God, yes I am.
Good luck. No, but that's going to be absolutely fantastic. Lemons, thank you very much for popping in, even if it was at the last minute. I really do appreciate it.
100%, man. You know, just if I was able to be here in any essence, you know.
Yeah, well, it is really appreciated.
Small quarter, but yeah, 100%, man.
And I do want to thank Dom for coming onto the show and spending the time that he did, being on and having a good laugh. He's been absolutely killing it lately. It's been really great. Obviously, before we finish, as you know, Falcon spotlights. Come on, what's his spotlights, my boy? What's his spotlights for this week? If you've got any.
I think we kind of went over all the exciting stuff that I've got going. So boats, that's the thing everybody's excited about. Probably before boats come out, the flying carpet will be out.
Yes.
That one should be relatively quick to do. I'm just going to tease this, but I've been helping out somebody that's building an event scene system. So if you think of the event system within DayZ and the way that it can spawn a vehicle or whatever, and then expand that out. Instead of just spawning a vehicle, it'll spawn an entire scene. So it could be a building with loot items or a loot crate and with creatures. And we've even started expanding into linking in bots as well. So it would be on a timer and something spawns in and you get a notification saying, aliens are invading north of,
Northwest, for example, something like that.
Yeah, or near Berezino. And you go there and there's an alien ship and aliens and kind of a crate or something. So that'll be coming soon, I believe.
Okay. I'm really happy about that. That's going to be really exciting. Okay, very nice.
Very flexible. And that was, I had actually developed and released my my loot crate mod, which is just a very simple, you can make anything be a loot crate, and anytime it spawns, no matter how it spawns, you can have it pick a random loot set to fill it with. So you could do everything from proper loot crates to things like every time the blue barrel spawns in the game, it has a random set of builder's items. So you might have some nails and a saw and a hammer or something like that.
Right, so it's kind of like a bit of environmental storytelling.
Correct.
Oh, and that's my kind of favorite. I love that. I really like that. Really looking forward to that. I really can't wait to see for that to be released. Have we got a time scale on that, or is it just going to be sometime after 119?
I think it'll be probably not too long after 119.
Okay.
So
Nice.
I'm actually running it on one of my servers right now,
Mm-hmm.
and the person who's driving it has it running on his server as well.
Nice. Okay. Fantastic. Well, like I said, I really, really can't wait. I really can't wait. Iceblades just asked, doesn't that exist already, kinda, Survivor missions?
It does, but this adds a whole nother dimension.
Mm-hmm.
An example. So I have a server that has base building plus, but does not have trader.
Right.
So it's kind of, you have to go find everything. Um, but to help expedite things, I have an event called a blue light special. So it's attention S Smart shoppers. There's a blue light special at the shop in this town,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes on for like 20 minutes. There's some creatures that kind of guard it, but in the shop is random on the shelves. Items randomly spawn that are things like concrete or mortar or nails and things like that. And so that's one way that it just builds the scene. And then once the event is over, all that stuff disappears.
Nice.
And
Okay.
so it's just left up to your imagination how
That is
much,
actually
how
really
big.
cool.
I think one of the things I want to do is, with the bots included, doing a bot base raid.
Mm-hmm.
So the event scene is actually a base made out of either vanilla stuff or base building plus parts, and bots spawn in to defend it. And then so you go get your base raiding stuff and go try to attack the bots and get to their loot.
Yeah, I'm definitely hyped for this. I really am hyped for this. Definitely keep me up to date with the development of this mod. I'd love to try out a server that has it, so please do keep me in the know. Thank you for
Will
letting
do.
us.
I'll post some information in the Discord about it.
Hell yes, good lad, good lad. That's why I like you, fuck. That's why I like you. What about yourself, Lemons? What's been your spotlight?
The community.
Oh, shut up! You say that every week, and to be fair, so do I.
Yep.
What is it?
My shout out's actually gonna be for a small YouTuber called Offset Syntax.
Okay.
They're kind of in the DayZ community, kind of not. They've kind of been bouncing in and out of it, but they're an amazing guy. They do a lot of stuff in programming,
Right.
and they've helped me a lot within the past, I'd say, month and a half now on general development for kill feeds and a bunch of different stuff. It's just awesome. And the fact that he was able to jump in and help me with a lot of that stuff is amazing, and I probably couldn't have done it without him. So my heart goes out to him. He might be in
Nice.
chat, I'm not sure, but
Yo, if you're in chat, rise up. No, that's class. That is really awesome. I really like, even people that's kind of like halfway in the community, halfway out, and if they can contribute, that's still awesome.
Because my big thing is too, he's the only person that I know of that has any public tutorials out there for anything regarding anything kill feed or anything stuff like that. Because I know for some people in programming, it's a very easy thing for them to do and tackle. But for people who have never done this before and have never even touched that side of things, he breaks things down very well, or things down very, very well. And I think anybody who's looking to get into that or make their own kill feed, I totally recommend checking out his channel. I'm gonna shoot the link off here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, send it across. No, but that is absolutely class, absolutely awesome. I'm gonna have to check out Syntax, and
oh, for sure,
and see what the business is, and see what it's like. Awesome, you've sent it in there. My spotlight for this week. It's actually a really difficult one. A lot of people know that I've been extremely busy with work, and this week has been no different. The next 3 months are going to be chaos, especially the way things are going over here. Context: I work for a residential company, housing, and yeah, goodbye mortgage rates. So yeah, so been busy with that. So I haven't really been able to focus on the community too much. I don't really know.
Iron Brew.
Iron Brew.
You know what? Yeah, Iron Brew. Guitar mod. Yes, actually, Iceblade. Yes, good, very good point. So, Iceblade told me, he posted about this mod a little while ago called Guitar Free. Just going to pull up some details about the mod. From what I can see here, it is a mod that allows you to play a guitar by chords instead of like single notes. It's both in like Russian and English. The description here says the mod adds a realistic guitar that you can play. There are 4 types of chords available: the major, the minor, sharp, and sharper minors, stuff like that. And there is quite a lot of really cool stuff to do with that, and you can have a lot of flexibility with how you play. It's done by the radial menu mainly. See if I can actually get the link up here. In fact, Lemons, can you go into the weekly show agenda? It should be right at the bottom if you can post it in chat. Do it now. Hurry up. No. It's a fantastic mod, and one of the great things about it as well, thank you very much, the mod owner does allow you to repack it. So if you are one of those kind of like server hosters where you do want to keep kind of like your those kind of like mod lists down, not like it does any benefit, but if you want to, if the mod is there that you can repack it, why not? So go ahead, do that. Use the mod, try it out. It's really cool. It's a really cool concept. I want to thank Iceblade for pointing that out to me. Thank you very much, and it's really, really awesome. But with that, that is the end of this week's show. I do apologise about it being a shorter one, but next week will be a longer one. I can't say who the guest is at this moment in time. Still confirming some details, but you'll find some more information about that in the near future. RedFalcon, thank you again so much for coming on the show and teaching us a little bit about the new physics. I really, really do appreciate it, and much love to you, my guy.
Yep, and thank you for all that you do.
Oh, no. Stop it, you. Thanks. No, it's fine. Don't stop it. No, but again, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And Lemons, again, thank you very much for coming in when you could. I really do appreciate it, and hope everything is going great with your new job.
Man, thanks so much.
Anytime, man. Anytime. With that, take care, everyone. Much love to you. See you next week.
Cheers, everybody.
Adios.
Bye-bye. And with that, that is the end of the episode. Again, I really do apologise about it being a bit of a shorter one this week. Typically we aim for 2 hours and a half or so, but yeah, it's been a very long week personally, and admittedly I am very tired. Your boy's got to sleep. but I mean, I couldn't cancel the show. Got to keep going. You got to keep going. Get some entertainment for everybody here. I do want to thank everybody who has come into the stream to chat and have a laugh. There has been some really interesting discussions. I really do appreciate it. Much love. Peace. # no refunds. Yeah, nah. All the lad champs in chat, thank you so much. I want to thank everybody who became a member of the stream, for everybody who donated. Petty Weddy, I believe, was the one that donated the €10. Thank you so much. I really, really do appreciate it. I'm going to have to fix my activity list. Shout out to the bots. Absolutely fantastic. Without your contributions to YouTube, the site would not be the same. It would actually be better if you weren't there. Honestly, go away. But yes, we're going to be around same time next week at 9 o'clock with our other guest. Again, more information about that guest will be available in the near future. If everything pans out well, I think it'll be an extremely awesome stream, but we will let you know. The 14th, I may not be available for that weekend, so there may not be a show. Again, I'll let you guys know about that. If there is no show, we will see you again on the 21st after next week. But much love to you all. I want to thank everybody again for coming into chat. I really do appreciate it, and yeah, it's been crazy. The love and support's been absolutely fantastic, and I hope that you guys stick around. Seriously, I really hope you do. Some awesome things are coming, and I can't wait for you to see. But anyway, you all take care of yourself, have a lovely weekend, and I shall see you same time next Friday on the 87.8 DayZ Survivor, all that stuff. Have a good one. Take care, guys. Love you all.